I am coming into your homes, your living rooms, or wherever you are to touch the hearts of you and your entire family. Joshua, tonight I want to beg all of you in the most sincerest of ways to please let whatever I'm about to say register in you. Please don't let this country become like Africa and Asia. Please don't allow your Guyanese brothers and sisters, your friends and your neighbors to become like those starving people we see on TV all over Africa and Asia. Please, I beg you, respect the blessings that God Almighty has blessed us with. And with that, let me say namaste once again to all of you. I hope you guys enjoy the Diwali celebrations and eat a lot of sweets, because I'm a diabetic and suffer from sugar. I could only watch the food and the sweets, suck my teeth, and went to work unhappily. But Joshua,
yes, sir.
as I parked my vehicle in front of my office, a security guard working a few buildings away from the Kaieteur News building came up to me and said, "Good morning, Mr. Glenn. I have never asked you for anything. I am hungry," and turned his face away. Uncle, a well-dressed middle-aged man couldn't look me in my face to tell me he's hungry. I reached into my pocket and took out $1,000 and gave it to him. All he said was thank you and walked off without even looking at me. Not that he didn't want to look at me. He was ashamed and embarrassed having to tell me that he is hungry and have nothing to eat. This is somebody, Joshua, I know for over 3 years. The only thing I hear from him now and again is good morning or good afternoon, Mr. Lall. Never ask me for a cent other than Monday, Diwali Day. This is what is happening in our country that is so filthy rich with all the minerals and oil you can think of. Got hundreds of thousands of people living, wondering where their next meal is coming from. Poverty. That word, poverty. That's what is in this country. 3/4 of the starving people of Africa and Asia are now wondering how they have reached these unbearable conditions under which they have to live, with all the riches they had and still have. Please, please, if I have to go down on my knees in front of each one of you to get you to understand the danger that lies ahead with what these politicians are doing, what they're allowing the foreigners to do to our land with our God-given resources, then I am prepared to do it. Yes, uncle and auntie, I am prepared to do that. I am also ready to bow down and kiss your feet if I have to do that, just so that our people don't end up in the same boat like those African and Asian peoples. I'll do it. Like I said, tonight's program is only to beg you people not to let Guyana become like Africa or Asia. I've been there in Africa, and I see firsthand the dreadful and terrible conditions those people are living under, despite the vast amount of minerals of every kind and oil they have. Please don't make Guyana reach where those people are. Please. Because we are already on that road, heading right there. The corrupt and greedy leaders of those countries are the ones directly responsible for the terrible state in which those countries and their peoples find themselves in. They have joined forces with the foreign exploiters who are more ruthless to rip out and fetch away almost everything, leaving hundreds of millions of people in the worst kind of poverty and starvation today. You know, guys, when we look back 40, 60 years ago, when there was no electricity, no roads, no internet, no media house that could have informed the people as to what crimes being committed against them by their politicians, man, we could have understand. But for those crimes to continue in this modern world in which we live today by politicians in itself, it's not a crime to send people to jail. They should be hung without trial. Today's world, uncle and auntie, we have highways that connect countries, media houses that touches all parts of the universe, and internet connections that connects every citizen on earth. The entire world with lightning speed. There is no reason, no excuse, no justification for you, the citizens, to remain in the dark anymore. Not knowing what is taking place in your country with your God-given riches, your present welfare, and your future destiny, man. No. No, too much is here now for you to see what's happening. So there can be no reason for anyone of our brothers and sisters to go hungry, having to beg for a meal in this land. No, man. Look on the screen, those of you who can. That picture was taken in Ghana, in which this elderly woman is ponging cassava alone. And when I asked her, where is the planting? She said, no, sir, no planting. The cassava was the only thing she had. Nothing else. And she had to feed herself, a twin, a daughter, her husband, and 2 other children. You don't want to see the condition under which they live. More than half of the African people live like that when the day comes. And like I said, we are on that road, heading right there with what's going on here. From the beginning of this program, since I started almost 2 years now, I have been telling you people how lots of our children going to school without lunch, and those who go with lunch kits, it has little or nothing inside. Tomorrow, the Kaieteur News is carrying a story that confirmed what I have been saying all along. My reporters were on this story for quite a while now. And what some teachers and students told them could have only brought tears. Yes, tears. Half, uncle and auntie, half or even more than half of the children in the classrooms does not eat lunch because of poverty. I say even more than half because most of the students are ashamed to tell their story, how poor they are. This sickness, this level of poverty has gone so far and bad that teachers are calling business places, begging for donations, not money, but for bread, cheese, and whatever they can contribute to ensure that those children who cannot afford a lunch get something to put in their stomach during the day. Yes, plenty of them go to school without having breakfast and without lunch. Just imagine for a moment what goes through those children's minds and stomach, having to sit there in those classrooms hungry. This is the Guyana we live in today. It is becoming like Africa and Asia. Please, I beg you, don't let Guyana reach there. Please. Like Africa, our country is also blessed with abundant riches. Unfortunately, uncle, like Africa, we are also cursed with selfish, greedy, and corrupt leaders. And like Africa, we got foreigners coming here by the plane loads to empty the sea, the land, and forests of everything it has. Soon, uncle, soon, auntie, they will suck out the very air we breathe. I see Joshua laughing, and some of you may be laughing and thinking sucking out the air is a big joke. No, no, it's not a joke. It can happen. And yes, they are doing it right now. It already started. The atmosphere is being polluted with so much deadly chemicals day and night. With the gas, they're flaring non-stop. That gas will leave us gasping for breath and fighting to breathe. Yes, wait a couple more mornings. These are the very things they did to Africa that has millions of people physically, mentally, and emotionally deformed. Look at the physical appearance of millions of Africans and Asians. You think they were born that way? No, uncle, they weren't. Starvation and pollution of the air and poison rivers got them looking that way. Let me repeat. I have been there. Walk and eat among them. Please, I beg you, don't allow the same thing to happen here. Take it from me. It is misery more than you can imagine those people living under. What is happening in Ghana, where I went, is the same miserable story for the people of Angola, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya, and the other countries. The foreigners come in, they dig up and carry away. Yes, they come in, dig up and carry away. Isn't this what they're doing in Guyana? Huh? With our leaders aiding and abetting them? This is why I am talking to you in a different tone tonight. This is a very worrying situation we have. And it should be very worrisome to all of you too. This is our present and our future, uncle. It is the present and future of our children, and it is in our hands, our best interests, to tell ourselves that we don't want what happened in Africa to happen to us. Let's do that, uncle. My fellow brothers and sisters, listen to me, please. I am pleading with you, begging you, please hear me. We are in this together. We put our heads together. We hold each other's hands. We can get somewhere. We don't have to fall in the same trap. We don't have to be like the people of Africa. Let us do our very best to get the greatest understanding of what is that we have and what it means for us, uncle. Let us get that understanding. It means that we must know more. We must press our leaders constantly for them to tell us more about our wealth, our resources. As one example, we need to know what we are getting from our gold. As you have heard me said many times before, the Vice President promised to release the mining contract months now. And since then, after making several promises, the press can't see them to enlighten and educate you as to how much we're getting out of those deals. Diwali morning, after giving that security guard that $1,000 to get some food, and I picked up the Kaieteur News to read, guess what was the lead story? Oh my, new gold find, 2 times Guyana's debt. You didn't hear me, man. The new gold find, double Guyana's debt. That's what Omai will be walking away with. Yes, the boss lady, a white Canadian woman, was proud to announce to her shareholders how extremely pleased she is to report that the gold they found is double what they had expected to find in one spot only. Yes, one little area only. Double what they have expected to find. When that woman announced that figure, uncle and auntie, my eyes could have popped out of my head sitting in that chair Diwali morning. I wish I hadn't leave my home and stay home. Uncle, when this woman said that the gold find jumped from 1.6 million ounces to 3.7 million ounces within 9 months, double the money this country owed to the world, and your politicians hiding these contracts from us. Man, like I said, I want to be calm tonight. I'm just going to say, I can only beg you guys tonight to please don't allow this country to become Africa and Asia, please. This white woman boasting to her shareholders about this mega gold find in our country. Yes, our country called Guyana. Who's boasting for us as to what we would be getting out of that US 6 billion gold fine? May I ask? President Ali? Norton and Ramjatan telling you anything? Can you imagine me and you, the bona fide owners of all that gold, and all my shareholders knows more than me and you about our own thing? Huh? Normally, I would get upset and you would hear it in my voice. But tonight I can only smile and try not to get upset. Mr. Irfan Ali, you are the sitting president. You are the man in charge. Please tell this starving nation, including that security guard, what all of us getting out of that 6 billion gold fine. Please, sir, it is time you extend your hand to us and let us see those contracts that are being promised year after year and months after months. It is a crime, uncle and auntie, it is a crime to have the Canadian owners of OMI come here, find our gold, and sharing the information and wealth with their shareholders, while we, the true owners of this gold wealth, have to wonder where our next meal is coming from. And if, let me repeat, man, and if there is anything out of that fine belongs to us. Mr. Ali, with sadness in this heart, I say this. Why this nation is constantly in the dark? Are we imprisoned or are we free citizens with rights? Are we hostages or are we respected partners and shareholders in our own wealth? I turn to you, Mr. President, because for far too long, the Vice President, Mr. Jagdeo, has been making us idiots and fools with his continuous promises of releasing these contracts. The second time he was asked, this is what he had to say. And let me play it for you people to hear what he had to say. Please play it. But my first question to you, you just talked about the extractive industry. The mining contracts. You said you were a serious and caring and transparent government. You were president. Why the nation has not seen or not seeing these contracts? Why they are not being made public? And I have a few other questions that I want to follow up with my reporter.
So, like, which contract?
All the large-scale mining.
So, these contracts don't rest with the president. If you go to GRA, every one of these contracts will be a GRA because they all have duty-free concessions. You remember the Baishan contract that people didn't see. It was with GRA. That is why GRA said, here is what you're eligible for, and here's what you're not eligible for. And they had to end up paying more taxes. Every single one of these contracts will be with the agency. It is not just, there is, I don't know now who, because if Ramson is still there, but we passed, just before I left office, a Freedom of Information Act. All you have to do as reporters is to request through that body. I have to find out if Ramson is still functioning. But if you request that, a contract through that body, and you don't get it, then that's a different matter. But it's not, we don't publish the contracts. The contracts are with the agencies. So it might be with the GMC, and it will be because they would sign it, or it will be with GRA. So I think the reporters have to start utilizing more that provision. I'm going to make sure that we discuss this seriously. I'm going to talk to the president that we put in place a mechanism to operationalize, if it's not in place already. I haven't looked at it.
Thank you.
So that is what you should do, and request the contracts.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. He will make sure he will speak to the president to make sure we get it. Now listen to what he had to say on my radio program when he was reminded again on those mining contracts, months after what you just heard. Play him again. Mining blocks. I text you and ask you to bring the mining contracts that you have promised to bring and to make public. Have you brought it for us?
No, what? I'm not your post office.
No, I know that you're not my post office.
I told you that
they have all refused.
These are not with the office of the president. They're with the agencies.
And they have refused.
Every agreement that is signed that is sitting with the GRA or the agencies.
They have all refused to hand it over.
I told you the Freedom of Information Act allows you to take some steps.
Why do this nation, why the media has to be on a weekly basis behind a government to ask them, to beg them for something as simple as a mining contract?
No, but
you guys give out to foreigners.
Did Stacia write you back on the matter?
He did not write. I write Station. I also wrote the GGMC, and they both.
So the GRA never responded to you?
They both said no.
But how did they say no? Did they respond and they told you?
Sir, like again.
No, but
again, I don't want to go down this road. 3 times I've asked you this at 2 different press conferences in which you made it clear that yes, and the law is very clear on that. The people of this country should and must see these contracts you people sign.
Not the oil contracts.
I'm talking about the mining contracts or gold, diamond,
because
bauxite,
all the oil
timber,
contracts are available, publicly available.
Manganese contracts, all these contracts should be in the public domain, sir. Why are you guys keep hiding it from this nation? Why? I still cannot.
No. But
that
you're characterizing this as hiding these contracts.
Well, I'm asking you. I've asked you many times.
For me personally, I don't see any reason why you should not have.
And
these
I've been
contracts.
hearing that answer all the time.
But it's the agencies. I don't have these
contracts.
contracts.
As Vice President, I'm asking you tonight on this radio. Would you make your duty and ensure that this is being released to the public?
So
to the media?
I can undertake to find out with you there what provision the GRA is so cagey about that it doesn't want to release.
GGMC.
And GGMC. So I can undertake to do
that. The law is very clear.
I don't know, yes, if the law is that these contracts have to be made public, they should be made public. I think, no. I just think that there may be proprietary things that they're worried about. But if the law is clear, then they should release these contracts. There is nothing in there to hide.
All right, let me make it more clear and simple for you, sir. Propriety information, I don't need.
All right. So
nobody needs that.
Then I will undertake that anything that is not proprietary, that you get it released.
And you're
because I will personally now see that this happens.
And you're not going to tell me that concessions is part of propriety.
No.
You're not going to tell me that the deal, the contractual arrangement between Guyana
but concessions are public issues, what people get in their contracts.
Thank you. So we'll hold we'll hold you to that. Thank you, sir. Uncle and Auntie, this is the type of leaders that led Africa and Asia to where it is today. Things like this the leaders did to their citizens back in the days when they had no TV, radio, or internet. They come out smiling, smirking, with flowery words and promising statements to make their people believe they are doing everything right and best for them, when in fact they are deliberately playing games and hiding the deals they made with those foreign exploiters. A stranger come into your gold field, digging it out, fetching it away, announcing how much they find and how much they making, and you don't know what you're getting? Really? Really, uncle? Tonight, like I said, I'm begging you people. I have to get home early to celebrate with my twin grandsons. They're celebrating their 6th birthday today. Please, I gotta go home early. And I beg you, please don't make Guyana become like Africa and Asia. Let us ensure, with the fight and spirit in you, that every Guyanese eating table and children's lunch kits can have food in them and on them. Please, Mr. President, your silence on these matters is exposing you to who I think you are not. So please let this nation see those mining contracts. The same way how President Granger allowed us to see that lopsided oil contract, please let us see our mining contracts. The Vice President has failed us, and you're the last hope we have for us to see what is in there. In those mineral contracts, please let us see it for those starving nation, for the starving nation, please. Please don't let this nation become like Africa. We have been living on borrowed money for far too long. At present, we are sleeping with 3.2 billion US debt, and we can't pay that. We continue to borrow more and more every day, like beggars, paying interest on it. Is this how we manage what God Almighty has blessed us with? Mr. President? Huh? Is this what God Almighty has blessed us with? When one Canadian woman can find double that amount of gold in one gold field, don't you think it is fair, Mr. President, for this nation to know what belongs to them out of that man? Huh? Uncle, auntie, we have to beg to know this. 3 consecutive times the media have asked Jagdeo on this matter, and he keep on promising and promising. Yes, promising. No one lives or eats on promises, Mr. President. The OMI shareholders is not living a life on promises. They are living a life on our wealth, our gold, our diamonds. What about us, the true owners? Huh? Why are we borrowing a few millions to patch up we underwear, while OMI fetching out billions for their shareholders to wear brand name suits? Mr. President, isn't it time we stop this barefaced, broad daylight robbery of our wealth? Hey guys? Mr. President, how can you have a neighbor fetching out a mansion out of your yard in gold, and you running to the bank for loan to fix your leaking roof or your falling down front step? Huh? I don't get it. Is this what life has come to in Guyana with all this riches God has blessed us with? Really, Joshua? Really? Brothers and sisters, if I have to throw milk at y'all foot and drink it, I am willing to do that. Please, for God's sake, don't let Guyana become like Africa or Asia. Please don't let this happen to your children and grandchildren. Please. I beg you to listen to Ashni Singh now. Listen to how Ashni Singh telling Guyana a few months ago how 3 more large-scale gold mining companies coming to Guyana, bigger than Omai. Hear me? 3 large-scale mining companies coming to Guyana, bigger than Omai. You have that tape? Play it for me, let the people hear it.
Yes. You know how significant Omai was. Contemplate for a moment 3 large-scale developments, each of which is larger than Omai. Consider for a moment that each one of these will probably be employing more than 1,000 Guyanese persons. Consider the food and other supplies that they will need, the transport services, the construction services, the equipment supply and maintenance services, and all of the multiplier benefits that 3 large-scale gold mining operations will generate in Guyana.
Could you please play it back for me?
You know how significant Omai was. Contemplate for a moment 3 large-scale developments, each of which is larger than Omai. Consider for a moment that each one of these will probably be employing more than 1,000 Guyanese persons. Consider the food and other supplies that they will need, the transport services, the construction services, the equipment supply and maintenance services, and all of the multiplier benefits that 3 large-scale gold mining operations will generate in Guyana.
Wow. Wow. If you think Omai is large, hear that? If you think Omai is large. Omai that done find $6 billion in gold. Double Guyana debts. Uncle and auntie, if I have, excuse me, if I really have to say publicly what going through this mind, listening to these people, it will be the end of Kaieteur Radio. And Lall will never stop walking up the High Court steps. Let me go home and enjoy my 2 grandsons' birthday. You know, Josh, yes, when you listen to these people when they speak and how they speak with my wealth, with your wealth, you know, it makes you want to do things that you never dream of doing. Before I go, let me share this story. A 14-year-old give birth to a baby. And the ministry along with the child care department were both aware of the matter and made all arrangements for this 14-year-old girl to go back to school. In school, one of the friends leak out the secret, tell the classroom, and they ended up in a fight. The child became so frustrated after the fight And maybe because she couldn't go back to school to face the students, she drink poison. She is presently in one of the hospitals. The parents of this child are so poor that they could hardly afford the transportation money to go visit her at the hospital on a daily basis. The sad part of this whole situation is not that. Is that the hospital does not have oxygen,
Oh my goodness.
which the girl so badly needs. And on top of that, on top of all what that parent going through or facing, the security guards at the gate begging this woman for 200 Guyana dollar every day. This is what Guyana has become. And this is the Guyana we are living in. Namaste and have a great day. Like I said, I beg you, don't make Guyana become Africa and Asia. We are already on that road. Have a great evening. Diana, join me on the Glenn Lall Show.